The JoLynn Braley Show, episode 36. Get Real, episode number 9. How others view your overweight. Hello and welcome. This is JoLynn Braley, weight loss mindset expert and founder of the Inner Self Diet. And this is the JoLynn Braley Show. You can go to fearlessfat-loss.com/show-bonus and grab your free 5-day e-course as a bonus for listening to the JoLynn Braley Show. It will help you discover what's really been stopping you from losing weight for good and what you can do about it. Join me on today's episode of the JoLynn Braley Show as I go beyond the food to the real issue. What is the real issue? I know that you think it's the food. I know that you think it's your fat and your overweight and your overeating, but actually, the real issue is your mindset. Yes, it is a fact. Mindset is 90% of the solution if you crave permanent success with your weight. If you want to lose weight without struggle, if you want it to be very, very easy for you to live a healthy and fit lifestyle, if you want to become the person that you've always wanted to be, that woman or man who loves eating healthy, who loves exercising regularly. Because why would you want those things? You already know that it takes a healthy lifestyle not only to drop the fat, but to maintain it for life. The only way you can do that and do it without struggle is by changing your mindset, and not just changing it, but transforming it at a root level. It has to be a core transformation. Surface positive thinking, unfortunately, is not going to do the job for you. Over time, you can make some movement by thinking positive, but it's nothing like the movement you can make when you go to the root of your lifelong food and weight struggles, heal it, and then if you were to apply positive thinking to that mindset, then you would really be in business. But that is the only way. That is the only way that you are going to leave your emotional eating, binge eating, food obsessions, negative self-talk, night eating, Last Supper eating on Sundays, Tomorrowland, always telling yourself that you're going to do it tomorrow or do it after the holiday or do it on New Year's Day, perfectionism, black and white thinking, self-sabotage, any and all unhealthy negative behaviors. The only way you're going to leave all of that mess behind you, all of that pain, all of that frustration behind you, is by getting a weight loss mindset. You cannot accomplish struggle-free weight loss. You cannot accomplish permanent weight loss through another little food diet. You can prove this to yourself. Look at how many food diets you have done throughout your life. How many times have you lost weight? How many times have you kept that weight off? How many times have you lost the weight without any struggle, without any deprivation, and actually maintained that weight without any struggle? Since you have not done that, that is your proof that you have never solved the root of your overeating and your overweight. And that's your problem. It's good to know that that's your problem, though. It's good to know that this is why 95% of dieters fail, because now you know that it's not the fault of that healthy diet or exercise plan that you have followed in the past. Of course, we're not even addressing the silly fads and the silly things that are put out there on the market. We're talking about healthy eating, healthy exercise. But now you know that even when you followed something healthy, you know why you couldn't stick with it, why you sabotaged yourself, why you might have lost weight, you might have lost even a lot of weight, but you gained it back plus more. Now you know that it's not the fault of that healthy diet or healthy exercise routine. It's not the fault of the nutritionist or the personal trainer. Those things are only 10% of the solution. Mindset is 90% of the solution. If you want to put an end to the struggle, all right? This is why 95% of dieters fail. What you've been attempting to do is solve your overweight, which are your overweight and your overeating. Those are only symptoms of the big problem. And you've been trying to solve those symptoms with a tiny little 10% part of the equation, which is the diet and exercise. So you don't have to make the diet and exercise be wrong or bad. It's not supposed to fix your problem anyway. All right? So now you know why you've never been able to achieve struggle-free, lasting success with your weight. And by the way, this is not any kind of a secret. Donald Trump knows this. Albert Einstein knew this. Dr. Wayne Dyer knows this. Deepak Chopra knows this. Louise Hay knows this. Oprah knows this. Mary Kay Ash of Mary Kay Cosmetics knows this. Zig Ziglar knew this. Tony Robbins knows this. All high achievers, Olympic athletes definitely know this. All right? All high achievers, golfers, Tiger Woods knows this. Anyone who has achieved greatness in their life, they know that 90% of it is mindset. The physical actions you take are only 10% of it. There's no way getting around that. Either you're going to get a weight loss mindset and make diet and exercise super, super easy for yourself so you can release that fat and keep it off for the rest of your life, or you will continue to struggle. I'm not saying that to scare you, it's just how it is. The only reason that you're struggling is because you do not have the mindset piece. All right, today's show is Get Real, episode number 9 of the year, and the topic is how others view your overweight. First, let me define for you what a Get Real episode is, in case this is the first one that you've heard on the JoLynn Braley Show. A Get Real episode is designed for the purpose of helping you to get real with yourself right now. Because I can tell you one thing without a doubt, this is a fact. The longer you continue to tell yourself that you'll do it tomorrow, the longer you're going to live in struggle, and the less likely it is that you are ever going to achieve struggle-free permanent weight loss. Tomorrowland is the place where people live who make excuses, live in denial, tell themselves it's not that bad, even though you are extremely frustrated and you feel depressed and hopeless, even angry, blameful, and just overwhelmed with the state of your body and your weight. You probably wonder how you ever got into the state that you're in. And you just can't stop obsessing about the food and about your fat and wondering what everyone else is thinking about your butt and your thighs and your stomach, especially if you ever have lost weight and then you gained it all back. When you're a yo-yo dieter and you have actually lost weight only to gain it all back plus an extra 10, 15, or 20 pounds, that's almost worse than just being overweight or obese and staying there, because you know that others have seen that you have been thinner and then you just end up gaining it all back. The problem with all of those failures is they all add up. And then on top of that, when you keep telling yourself that you will change tomorrow, that you'll get it together tomorrow, and especially when you tell yourself that you can do it all on your own, Well, how in the world are you going to unravel and heal the root of this problem if you have never done it before? What exactly is different now? What has changed? What exactly has changed? Have you hired a highly skilled coach and mentor who already has the proven step-by-step system that will break you out of the struggle that you're in? Or have you just bought another self-help book? How many of those have you bought throughout your lifetime? And how exactly have they worked to solve this ongoing struggle that you're living with? Here's the first Get Real episode question for today. On every episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, I give you questions to ask yourself. I highly suggest you write these down pen on paper. If you only listen to this podcast, you won't get even 0.01% of the benefit that you could get if you write these questions down and then write your answers down pen on paper. If you use a keyboard, you will miss out on the connection that occurs between your head, your hand, and your heart when you write pen on paper. The first question is, exactly how many more diets do I need to do before I believe that I cannot achieve struggle-free, permanent weight loss on my own? Exactly how many more diets do I need to do before I believe that I cannot achieve struggle-free, permanent weight loss on my own? And write that number down. Your second question today on this Get Real episode is, exactly how many more self-help books do I need to buy before I believe that I cannot solve this food and weight problem on my own? Exactly how many more self-help books do I need to buy before I believe and can accept that I cannot solve my yo-yo dieting, emotional eating, binge eating, stuffing myself, food obsessions, negative self-talk, self-sabotage, and on my own? I know a woman who owns all of the Janine Roth books. And Janine Roth, if you're not familiar with her, she writes about eating disorders, emotional eating, curing the emotional eating disorder. However, like most people, this woman has bought all the books. She has the intellectual knowledge, but she has not ever gotten the transformation that must occur at the root level on the inside so that she could have struggle-free permanent weight loss. But she keeps buying the self-help books. One of my clients, Laura from the East Coast, she's a graduate of the Inner Self Diet. She said that she had been following me for over a year, and she was a member of the Permanent Weight Loss Secrets Easing community, which are all the people who receive our free email newsletters that go out. They go out each week on Tuesday. And during that year, she kept telling herself that she should be able to fix all of her struggles on her own and that somehow she could solve her food and weight problems alone. And she also shared that during that year, things only got worse for her, which makes a great deal of sense. How can you heal the root of a problem that, first of all, you don't even know what the root is? Or you might think you know what the root is and it's actually something else. Or if you really do believe you know what the root is, you've never solved it anyway. How can you get the results that you want of struggle-free permanent weight loss? How can you do that on your own if you've never done it? If you could have done it, wouldn't you have already done it? And if you could have done it, why wouldn't you have already done it? What possibly would have stopped you? Now notice that this is not a problem of intelligence. All of the people that I work with in the Inner Self Diet, all of my clients are very intelligent people. I'm sure that you are too, and that you are very successful in the other areas of your life, in your work life, maybe even in your relationships. But if that highly intelligent part of you could have solved your ongoing food and weight struggles, then why wouldn't you have done it 10, 20, 30 years ago? What that shows you is that this is not a problem of intelligence. So I really invite you to get real with yourself about what you're doing to yourself. Do you even want to release the struggle? If you don't want to release the struggle, then ask yourself, why am I listening to this podcast? Why should you frustrate yourself with the knowledge that you really could have struggle-free permanent success with your weight? That you could have what the graduates of the Inner Self Diet have? Why would you want to frustrate yourself with that knowledge if you're not willing to do what it takes to get it? John Assaraf, he was one of the people in The Secret. Maybe you saw that movie. He also has written several books. And one of his awesome quotes, which is so true, he says that if you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. If you're committed, you will do whatever the hell it takes. So maybe you're just interested in releasing all of your struggles and ending your yo-yo dieting, but you're not committed. Well, at least by getting real with yourself right now, you can see where your commitment lies. Possibly your commitment lies with your food addictions, and you're not willing to let those go. You have too many fears. Your FAT mindset is keeping you too stuck, and you're afraid of what will happen if you no longer have those struggles. What will happen if you no longer have those struggles? What will you do with your life? That's an interesting question to ask yourself. Why don't you write that one down right now? What will I do with my time and with my life if I no longer obsess about food, fight with my body, and fight with my weight? What exactly will happen then? And write down your answer to that question. All right, so on this 9th Get Real episode of the year, the main topic, besides it being a Get Real episode, is how others view your overweight. And this is a great focus for a Get Real episode. It's September 5th, and over Labor Day weekend, I went to a really fun street festival that we have here in the area. And I cannot tell you how many obese and overweight people were there. There were just an abundance of people who were overweight and obese. And here's a fact, all right? Some things that you say to yourself, and it's what almost all overweight people say to themselves. They say that life is not fair, that people should look at your inner beauty instead of your outer beauty and not judge you, and that man that you really like, who is all fit and healthy, that he should date you because you're such a wonderful woman, but you're 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight, and he's not interested. You also tell yourself that you should have gotten that job promotion instead of your slender colleague who has less credentials than you do. All right, there are many examples that we could go on and on with. And Laura H., who is another graduate of the Inner Self Diet, you will find her audio success story also on fearlessfatloss.com. She talked about this in her audio success testimonial. She's someone who had weight loss surgery, and that did not cure her overeating and overweight, which makes sense. It cannot do that for any person. There are shows on television about people who are 600 pounds overweight and they have weight loss surgery and they still overeat. Why is that? Because the surgery is a tiny, tiny, minuscule part of the solution. It's actually less than 10% of the solution. It doesn't do anything to change that person's mindset and heal why they became so obese in the first place, unless the root of their symptoms is healed. Their symptoms are their obesity and their overeating and their behaviors, even their patterns of thought and their mindset. Those are all symptoms. If you don't heal the root of that, it doesn't matter if you have surgery. And Laura went on to share in her audio testimonial that she knew, and it's just a fact, that people will judge you on how you look. You can talk for the rest of your life and complain to your friends and go out to eat and overeat and tell all your friends that it's not fair, that you shouldn't be judged on how you look, and that you should just be accepted for who you are, and there should be greater tolerance for your overweight. That's not going to change anything. It's not going to change how others view your overweight. If you want to go to a very basic level, all right, humans, we're not animals, but in a way we are. And first impressions happen in just a few seconds, especially when it comes to the topics of your career, your workplace, and also dating and relationships. Now, if you want a man who is unhealthy, then that's something else. But I can't imagine why you would be listening to this podcast if that's what you wanted, because you want to have a healthy, fit body yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to my voice right now. So I'm sure that you also want a man who is healthy and fit. If you are single and you want to date, you can't do anything about the fact that you are going to be judged on how you look. It's the same thing for your career. You can have all the credentials in the world, but what happens is when you are overweight, when you're obese, when you can't stop eating, and please understand that I know your struggles. I've been there before, and I know what it feels like to be stuck where you are. But even with that being said, it doesn't change how other people view your overweight, how they view your fat. Here's what happens is they see you and they see your overweight body and your excess fat, and their first thoughts are, you can't control your life. If you can't control your life and you can't control your own body and your own weight, then you aren't going to be a very good employee, and you're not going to do the level of job that they're looking for. Now, is this always true? No, it's not always true. If you really go above and beyond and you really prove yourself and you have an awesome resume, you can get a great job. I'm sure that, in fact, you are successful in your business life, in your career life, and still you're overweight. But are you at the level that you want to be at? Have you ever thought about where you could be if you were living in the body of your dreams? How much further along you would be? And then, of course, when it comes to dating and mating and relating, a man who looks at you, if he is not into overweight women, then you're going to be rejected right away. And there are men out there who like overweight women, but is that the kind of guy that you want? Because you don't want to be overweight. Why would you want to date a man who wants to be with an overweight woman when you don't even want to be overweight and you don't like your overweight? That doesn't make any sense, does it? So you can't do anything about the fact of how you are viewed negatively because you are overweight. That's just how it is. It might not be fair, but when you look at things from even a basic animalistic standpoint, there is such a thing as survival of the fittest, and that is something at a very base level that you are not going to change. All right? And if you try to change it and you want to fight that battle and you want to fight the battle of, people should accept you as you are, then again, ask yourself, why are you listening to this podcast? Because the only people who listen to the JoLynn Braley Show are those who want to lose weight, want to have an easy time losing the weight, and want to be able to do it not only easily along the path, but also keep it off. And of course, that does require a weight loss mindset. And you have to do the proven steps in order to get that weight loss mindset, which is the work that I do with my clients in the Inner Self Diet. So today's Get Real episode is about getting real with yourself and also looking at not only how others view your overweight and how that is negatively impacting your life right now, and how others view you as how capable you are, how dependable you are. All of those factors come into play when they look at you. You can't do anything about that. The other thing, though, to look at is how do you view yourself? More than likely, you're viewing yourself exactly the way these others are viewing you. And if you loved being overweight, if you loved your obesity, if you were happy in your body and you did not want to lose weight, all right? That's a big difference there. If you had no desire to lose weight and you were completely happy where you are, no desire whatsoever to lose weight, that would be a different story. You would be viewed differently by others then, because you would be completely at peace with yourself. But again, why would you be listening to the JoLynn Braley Show if that were the case? There'd be no reason to listen to me, correct? It's time for a commercial break, and this week's sponsor of the JoLynn Braley Show is fearlessfatloss.com. Head on over to fearlessfatloss.com and you can grab your free 5-day e-course titled Is Your Mindset Fit or FAT? It will help you discover what's really been stopping you from losing weight for good and what you can do about it. And let me give you a direct link to where you can grab your free bonus. Go to fearlessfatloss.com/show-bonus. That's /show-bonus. fearlessfatloss.com/show-bonus, and you can grab your free 5-day e-course there. You'll learn, is your mindset fit or FAT? Very good stuff. Okay, so another question to ask yourself today on today's episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, Get Real episode number 9 of the year. Write down this question and then write your answer immediately following it. What is all of the specific feedback I have received in the past about my overweight? What is all of the specific feedback I have received in the past about my overweight? And write it all down, whether it's positive or negative. If it's negative, ask yourself, how do I see myself exactly like this? If it's positive, ask yourself, do I even believe this positive feedback? And then one other question to ask yourself. You'll probably need more time to do that previous question. You're welcome to pause this podcast right now, finish that question, and then go on to this next one I'm about to give you. Your next question to ask yourself is, how exactly would I like to be viewed in my body? How exactly would I like to be viewed in my body? And write down all of the qualities and all of the thoughts that you would like others to think when they first see you, such as, I would like to be viewed as capable, competent, fit, healthy, having my act together, mature, happy. All of the positive qualities that you would really like others to look at you and say. Smart, intelligent. Believe it or not, the fitter you are, the more intelligent you appear, even if you're not intelligent. But I know that you are very smart, otherwise you wouldn't be listening to the JoLynn Braley Show. Okay, so I expect that you have gotten a lot out of the 9th Get Real episode of this year. Okay, so let's take a look at what you learned today, and then we will wrap up the show. Oh, before we do that, shout-outs. How to get a shout-out from me here on the JoLynn Braley Show. Go over to our Facebook page and click like to like the page, and I will give you a shout-out on an upcoming episode. How do you find our Facebook page? Go to thejolynnbraeleyshow.com. If you're listening to this on iTunes, you can see how my name is spelled. If you're listening on some other service, if you don't see the JoLynn Braley Show's picture there, that's the one of me in the red dress. If you're not seeing that image for some reason, then my name is spelled JoLynn, B as in boy, Raley. All one, put it all together, thejolynnbraeleyshow.com. Click like to like our Facebook page. If you find that you are afraid to like our Facebook page because you don't want others knowing that you have food and weight struggles and you have mindset issues, then that is something that you really want to look at, because that means that you're even more stuck in the FAT than you realized. Yes, I understand that you have a great deal of shame, guilt, and embarrassment, but there are millions out there who are in the same place you are. What's even better, though, is, of course, you can get to the other side. You can actually release all of your food and weight struggles, and you can live struggle-free if you do the steps to get there. And, of course, it helps greatly if you are doing steps that are proven to work. They've already worked for everyone before you, and they will get you to where you want to go. I can tell you, if you listened to the last episode of the JoLynn Braley Show, that was episode number 35, I outlined why the inner self diet always works. If you haven't listened to it yet, then head on over there and listen to episode 35. It's the one right before this one. And yeah, the inner self diet does always work because it heals the root of your lifelong food and weight struggles. You can't get that result through a little food diet. Okay, so what did you learn today? You learned that mindset is 90% of your challenge if you want to release all of your food and weight struggles. If you don't want to do that, and you just want to keep doing food diets and telling yourself that Monday it'll be different, then that's a different story. But just like I've asked you a few times today on this Get Real episode, you'd want to ask yourself, why am I listening to the JoLynn Braley Show right now if I want to keep yo-yo dieting? That doesn't make any sense, does it? So obviously, you must want to end all of your food and weight struggles. How are you going to do that? You learned that you got to get a weight loss mindset. You also learned that it's very difficult to do that on your own because you don't know what you don't know. It's so hard to even know what the root of your food and weight struggles are that have been going on since you were in childhood. That is where all of your struggles started. Listen to previous episodes of the JoLynn Braley Show for specific steps on how to figure that out. I have gone through those steps on almost every episode lately leading up to today, which is why I'm not repeating that again today. And you also learned that the quickest and easiest way to get struggle-free permanent success with your weight is to simply hire a highly skilled coach and mentor. You learned through many of the questions that I gave you today, one of those questions, you learned all of the excuses that are keeping you fat. Notice if you wrote down that one of the reasons that you will not achieve or you're putting off achieving struggle-free permanent weight loss, however it was I worded that question. Notice if you wrote down money, That is one of the easiest and the biggest excuses that overweight people use, that people in general use, for getting what they want in life. But notice that if you really, really, really wanted something, that you would find the money. So, if money is one of your excuses for continuing to struggle on your own and not hire a permanent weight loss coach, then ask yourself, here's another question you can write down: how serious am I about ending all of my food and weight struggles? Maybe you're going to find that you're really not all that serious, because if you really wanted it, you would get it. You would get it, and you would get the help. If you learned, one of the other things you learned today is if you knew how to end all of your struggles on your own, you would have done it years and years and years and years ago. How many self-help books do you need to buy until you believe that you can't do this on your own? I don't know any high achiever who has gotten to where they are on their own, no matter what area of life they are in. You just don't know what you don't know. You can't be objective with yourself. And there's also that old saying about the ant. I'm sure you've heard this before. That little ant was out there struggling, telling himself that he could carry that piece of food back to the nest all by himself, that he could do it, he should be able to do it, somehow he'd do it. And then another ant came along and helped him with it, and they quickly and easily moved the piece of food back to the ant hill. Why in the world would you continue to struggle on your own when you don't have to? What kind of results do you want to be living? Do you want to feel absolutely fantastically orgasmic in your own skin? Do you want to love your body? Do you want to bound out of bed in the morning with excitement and looking for the next fun thing that you're going to be doing in your life? Do you want to love how you look in your clothes? Do you want to have a healthy relationship with food? Do you want to have a clear mind and inner peace instead of having that constant food obsession and worry going on in the back of your mind, dragging you down? Do you want to release not only the physical fat, but also the emotional fat? Do you want to keep living in the guilt, living in the frustration, living in the pain? Is that really what you want? Or do you want to be on top of your world? Feel unstoppable. Have the knowing within you that not only can you release all of that excess fat and do it without struggle, because, hey, let's face it, if you can release 1 pound without any struggle and you know exactly how to maintain your mindset, you have all of the inner self tools you need to keep you on track, then if you can do that with 1 pound, you can do it with 2, you can do it with 3, you can do it with 5, you can do it with 10, you can do it with 20. There wouldn't be any difference between any of them, and you have to have a weight loss mindset in order to continue to do this long-term, over time, struggle-free. Yes, the human body does not lose fat overnight. It happens over time. Why would you want to keep holding yourself in the holding pattern of Tomorrowland when you don't have to? Hey, you know, the truth is, here's something else for you on this Get Real episode today. This is your life right now. This is your life. Look at your results. Do you like the results you're living? If you do, great. Stop listening to the JoLynn Braley Show then. There's nothing for you here. If you are fantastically happy in your body, you're happy with how you feel about yourself, you are in love with yourself, and you're also in like with yourself, why should you listen to this podcast? Get out there, live your life, go do all the things that are on your list of fun things to do. Go for the next level in your business or the next level in your career. There's nothing stopping you if you feel that great and you've got that winning mindset, and there's nothing that you're unhappy with about your body. You're at your ideal weight. It's no problem for you to maintain it. Then hey, there's no reason for you to listen to this podcast. Just get on out there and live your ideal life in your ideal body. There's no reason for you to listen to this podcast. Now, since you're still listening, obviously, you don't like the fat, you don't like your FAT mindset, you're fed up with the struggle, then you've got to do something different in order to get different results. There is no other way to put it. It's so simple. If you want to go from where you are to the place that you want to be, where you're living struggle-free with food, struggle-free with your weight, absolutely loving who you are, and actually enjoying the journey to your ideal body. If that's what you want, the quickest way to do that, and to do it without struggle, is to hire a highly skilled coach and mentor who already has the proven step-by-step system to get you there. Okay, so be sure and head on over to the JoLynnBraleyShow.com. Click like to like our Facebook page, and you will get a shout out from me on an upcoming show. If you're subscribed in iTunes, go ahead and give the show a 5-star rating. We appreciate it and also firmly believe that this is a 5-star show. I'm here to give you the truth. Those little food diets will not fix your problem. They are never going to heal your mindset. Those little food diets are only 10% of the solution of getting the body of your dreams. You must get a weight loss mindset, which is 90% of your challenge today. That is the truth. It's not my truth, it's just how it is. On next week's show, the topic is why you can't lose weight permanently. This is JoLynn Braley, weight loss mindset expert, founder of the Inner Self Diet, and you have been listening to the JoLynn Braley Show. Go to fearlessfatloss.com to learn more. Grab your free 5-day e-course while you're there. It will help you answer the question, is your mindset fit or FAT, and help you discover what's really been stopping you from losing weight for good and what to do about it. If you're sick and tired of collecting information that you never take action on, and you're serious about getting struggle-free permanent weight loss now, then obviously you've got to take action and not just collect information. So your next action step is to fill out the application for a complimentary weight loss discovery session. You can do that now at discovery-session.com. Thanks so much for being on the show today. We look forward to seeing you on next week's episode of the JoLynn Braley Show. This is JoLynn Braley, weight loss mindset expert. Find out more at fearlessfatloss.com. Here's to your best life in your ideal body.